This is BOBcast.
BuffaloBrotherhood.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Buffalo Brotherhood. This is the BOBcast, our weekly podcast, and this week it is episode 93. I almost said 83 again. It's 93. I'm trying to take 10 off every time. I'm Ryan. Alongside me, as always, is
Mike.
I was trying to go the other way around the table, but since it doesn't work that way, and across the table from him is
Drew Peters. Doug.
I was excited to do the interview.
AKA Doug.
We never did see his picture at the end of the last episode. And joining us this week to talk about Star Wars prop bets.
I wasn't the face in that movie.
You're right. Across the table from me is
the other white meat, Doug.
You just now getting it?
Yeah, it took me a second. I didn't hear you clearly. Then I had to connect it all together in my head.
Drew Peters and the other white meat today.
All right.
We're excited, though. We're excited to be here for our second show of 2016. And this is somewhere in the middle of the January, right? So we've been out of Star Wars for a month. We're going to talk about prop bets. We're going to get right into it because I have a feeling we've all seen it, the movie, and we've had time to analyze it within inside our heads. We've had time to look at other people or to hear what other people have to say and see some literature that's had to come
Voluminous amounts.
And I think we've percolated to the point now that we can have some serious conversations. Now, if you haven't seen
even
the
people
movie,
that haven't seen the movie have opinions.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
It was terrible.
I refuse to waste my money on it.
All he did was rehash episode 4.
And you know
Shut
what?
up.
If that's my favorite movie, why wouldn't I just want to see it again anyway?
Punch people that say that.
Anyway, so that being said, if you haven't seen the movie, please don't listen to the podcast any longer because that's pretty much all we've talked about for the last 2 years anyway. So if you're expecting something different, you're dreadfully wrong. I apologize. I do like our Facebook page, though, before you stop listening, at facebook.com/Buffalo Brotherhood. Subscribe on YouTube. You can find the link on the Facebook page. We made prop bets, fellas, and we put some serious stakes on these.
We did?
One of us has to shave our head tonight, and I'm not going to say who.
I don't remember any of that.
I am getting ready for whole buffet too, so.
You gotta stop.
These are callbacks, Doug. Typically, what happens is we wait till later on in the episode before we get to like the blue humor, we would call it, I guess. That way, in case my mom starts to listen to this episode, she doesn't get completely disgusted before she gets bored.
Your mom would be laughing.
That's true. She would.
It'd be loud too.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
So somebody's gonna have to shave their head this evening. I brought the clippers. They're over here in this blue bag.
Go on.
All right.
Okay. Come on.
How many times have we seen the movie total within this room? Can we do it that way?
I've seen it 4 times.
4 times,
7.
3 times, 3 times,
Twice.
Okay, so that's 12 times total.
Right.
Common Core. That's 12 times total. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of eyes that's had it.
Twice in IMAX.
Can we talk about
I've seen it in every format.
including the 70 millimeter?
2D, 3D IMAX.
Yeah.
70 millimeter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your Star Wars EP is massive at this point.
I haven't seen it in Braille, I guess. So, anyway.
You're going to go to the movie theater and be like, can I just have the headphones, please? So that I can listen to it in the
they do have that.
descriptive language.
The descriptive audio thing.
We had a guy, the last time we saw the movie, we had a guy with his dog, blind guy with his dog in the theater with us, and he sat. I mean, to me, I was like, that's kind of respectful because I sit in the middle whenever I possibly can, so I have the best viewing. He sat pretty much facing the back, like all the way on the side.
You mean like looking at the back?
Like he sat in what I figured was like a really uncomfortable seat. I don't know if maybe he could feel like the light from could you feel the light like shining on your face if you were blind?
What are you talking
What?
about?
Was he
Exactly.
facing the projector?
Where's this
You-
going?
You don't know where we have no
But
clue
he
where
had-
he is
but-
in the theater.
Okay, he's in the very front, off to the side, and what I would consider probably the worst seat imaginable to be.
Well,
be
if you're
seated.
blind, I don't think it really matters.
But he had the headphones on, and he was able to apparently hear the descriptions of what was happening on the movie theater.
I wonder
so
if
how
the
does
sound
so they
splits
so
are like-
somebody
Yes,
you're
yes,
hearing
they do.
you're
Because somebody went and
hearing-
asked him, and I was standing beside him. When I was like, he's not going to see me standing here, so I'll stand here and listen to the response.
wow.
Was that wrong? No, I'm not. I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I'm just
He
saying.
knew you were there, Ryan.
That's true. You could probably smell my
he
perfume.
could hear your breathing.
He's not. He's not.
He's
Daredevil.
You don't know that.
He wasn't in Daredevil shape. I'll just say that much.
He's like an elf.
He was a fit-looking guy, but he wasn't.
The dwarf
Anywho-
was breathing so loud we could have shot
Anywho,
him
you
in the
stood
dark.
and stared at a blind guy in
I
a
didn't-
dark theater. Go on.
It was after the movie, and it was out of the theater, and I didn't stare at him. I was waiting on my family to use the restroom.
Okay, so what was happening?
Somebody just asked him, said, like, what, very blunt, like, why are you here? Question, and he said that he was able to listen
That's
to the descriptive
rude.
audio. I mean, I didn't have the guts to do it, but I'm
Tell
glad somebody
no- Don't tell Noah to go do stuff like that.
did. No, it's easy to do that too. He said that he could hear the movie and he could feel the
Yeah.
sound,
Yeah.
and he could hear the and they would explain what was happening. So like, you can actually go.
Somebody'd have to talk really fast too.
No, it's
There's the
actually
descriptive audio on the Blu-rays.
yeah.
I mean,
And
I've
I've
never
watched that
never
before.
watched. I mean, is it just like a general like?
It's like Vader enters the room with Leia, and then you hear the dialogue.
Okay,
It's
so it's not like
Luke
you know.
removes his lightsaber.
It's
and
not
then
like
you
a-
hear
Poe
the sound.
Dameron shoots a blaster shot at Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren's
It's not.
only, and they
it's
do
not-
it in like a 1920
not-
But you
accent.
think, yeah, but you'd think they'd have to read it like script style to give some sort of a description of the character. You
It's-
know, do it quickly. If you're just saying so and so enters the room, they're like so.
And who talks first? Kylo Ren talks first. No, Poe Dameron talks first.
Pew 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 pew. They
You'll never
drop it.
catch us, eh?
Wait a minute. Finn's a black stormtrooper? Sorry.
Finn, the African American stormtrooper.
I'm curious to see if that's what happened.
He can't be American.
Oh, the
That's true.
African British
That's true.
stormtrooper. The Cockney black African of descent stormtrooper.
Oh, we
Anyway.
forgot to talk about the Ray controversies in the last episode.
What do you
What?
want to talk about now?
What
I wouldn't
Ray
say- I wouldn't say they're
controversy?
Controversies.
They're just everyone's mad because there's like barely any Ray toys.
They even had to reissue the
The
New Star Wars
Monopoly
Monopoly.
was the one that came because
Well,
you
okay,
can't get a
okay. Well,
Monopoly.
now time out. A lot of the you got to think about when was all this stuff being designed? How long
That
ago
is-
was it?
That is an argument, but they should have prepared for that.
See, I don't think that is
But-
an argument
but if-
because they've come out with figures that have no consequence to the storyline. They've come out with action figures for the lead female character.
Well, they have a
barely
Ray
anything
action
for it.
figure, don't
What
they?
comes with their speeder tractor?
Well, no,
thing.
they have an individual when it comes to BB-8. I bought it for
They
my
do?
I bought it for my daughter on Force Friday.
I did not
So
know
I bought Kylo Ren, I bought Phasma, and I bought
Well,
Rey.
really, if you think about it, though, like the fans were going crazy over Captain Phasma because she was getting pushed real
Because
hard.
there were a
and
ton of toys.
And
they
she-
built her up though
Yeah.
for the toys.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the-
but
but
she's a chrome stormtrooper, so
but-
just,
Yeah.
just the
She's
visual
dead
aspect
now.
of it.
I didn't
Technically.
feel before the movie.
she's as dead as
Okay.
the bottom of a Sarlacc pit.
Before the
Yeah.
movie, I didn't
Right.
feel as much. I didn't feel as much enthusiasm for Rey as after the movie because nobody really knew. Now, I'm not saying like the Monopoly thing, for example. That their defense was when they designed it, they really didn't know what.
The defense is this. For 35 years, these are boys' toys. Boys play with other action figures, which have historically been boys. There's not another example where a
But
female
Monopoly.
lead. I have Monopoly from the 90s, and
Yeah.
it comes with
Right.
Luke, Vader, Fett, Han.
The big standard.
There's no
characters.
Leia. There's
No
no,
Leia.
layer in the pewter pieces. Well, they're made of pewter.
That's why I'm saying it's
I
a
got
valid defense because did everybody really know until after they released that
But
she was basically the central character of
I
this
would
movie.
think. I would think that they. Well, here's the thing: if they were designed as early as as you're saying, I would have.
They had to be.
But I would have thought that Lucasfilm or Disney would have given them.
No.
They would. No. They wouldn't have given them the story. I think the blame probably has to go back to Disney on any of it because Disney would have had to give them the information to say, here are going to be the characters that you're going to want to put in this game. They're going to be the one that
I
give them
guarantee
all
you
of
what
the
they did.
information.
They gave them the character and the generic description because if they
And a
would have given them
picture,
any more,
probably.
the more information they put out, something would have slipped.
Well, they had to. They would have to.
So
give them a
Monopoly,
picture.
to Ryan's argument, was, well, we have history to go on, so this is what we should produce.
Yeah.
Now, I
It's-
just think it's a class act that they're fixing it. And I think that's what you need to focus on there is the fact that it took a letter from a little. I didn't hear anything about this. Doug was telling me about this today at school.
It was like
But-
an 11-year-old girl wrote a
Yeah.
letter to the company basically saying, why isn't there a Ray character? She's the central figure of the whole movie.
But I
It's
think
true.
this goes back to the culture shift that we've been talking about on this podcast for the last 100 episodes. And that is when we were kids and when Star Wars came out, it was not cool to be fans of Star Wars. It would get you,
if you were a girl,
even if you were a boy, Doug, I'm telling you.
not my generation.
We-
That's all we did.
Well, maybe that's that gap there then
I never
in
had
the
any
ages.
issue. I never got made fun of.
I'm just a dorkier
Or maybe,
person.
maybe I
apparently.
did, and I never knew it. But
Well, and the thing is like whether or not you owned it or not. But
I dressed up as Darth Vader for football games and went out on the field as drum major.
I know. That's not what I'm saying.
I embraced it.
We were protected. We were in the band, man. We were protected.
That's
we
right.
Had,
I was
we had
outside
our
the
groupie,
band.
We had our nerdy groupies
That's right.
of a group. Like
We had
there
a
wasn't
hun- we
one
were
guy that would be
100
like,
some
nerd
strong.
and rah, like they would have got attacked. He was by himself.
I was
You
I
were
was a
you were
loner.
a drama.
I was a
yeah,
loner.
he was a
Loner
tunnel
daughter.
rat.
Yeah.
A
Tunnel
rebel.
rat.
I would have been in the same category with you.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was ever get the nerd, but I'm saying you didn't see a lot of movies that I was 6
just
foot
see,
5, 200 pounds
Yeah.
my whole
Yeah,
life.
you were one of the biggest kids in school.
Yeah, so I wasn't that issue, but it was more like you didn't see movies. It wasn't celebrated. Like if you wanted to get nerd culture or geek culture, it was harder to come by. It was harder to find. You had to read the novels. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't.
Yeah.
We're in a place right now where it is very safe to like comic book movies and very
Well-
safe to like science fiction, and even thanks to Harry Potter. I mean, just the whole the whole magic versus wizard. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons was not something people
Ryan,
played.
that's because Bill Gates was right. The nerds rule the world now.
I get that, but what I'm saying is that for a long time, girls would not have ever been interested in a movie like this. But the times have changed, and the culture has changed,
Right.
and what people are into, and what parents want to. I mean,
Well,
I can
there-
imagine when I was a kid, there would have been other parents of daughters that were like, "You're not going to do that. That's not what girls do. That's not how girls act." But now, did you see Mark Zuckerberg's response?
Yeah,
that is like
to the mom that
the mom
said-
was like,
the grandma that have you heard about this? The
No.
grandma that told her granddaughter that she needs to marry someone like
"Marry a nerd like
marry
Mark
a nerd
Zuckerberg."
like Mark Zuckerberg, and Mark Zuckerberg's like, no, you go be a nerd and make millions of dollars.
Yeah, so that was her granddaughter. That was the plan. The grandmother was giving to the marry a nerd so he can make you rich. And Zuckerberg was like, seriously, just be the nerd yourself, and you don't have to marry anybody. And that's different. That's a huge culture shift in 20 years.
Yeah.
In my mind, it is. From where we were into, I think, a better place to where we are now.
Depends on what kind of nerd it is.
But you got to imagine
If it's a whiny Tumblr nerd, no. They can go die in a fire.
I've
but if
never
it's
even that. Embrace all nerds, Doug.
no,
It's
I
okay.
won't embrace them.
No, Tumblr nerds are nerds.
What? This is
They're a bu-
terrible.
They're
This is
a bunch
exactly
of they're
the
a
kind of
bunch of whiny SJW trolls. They can go.
Well, trolls are different than nerds. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. Trolls are different than
Well, they
nerds.
consider themselves, I'm sure, to be part of the nerd umbrella, but there are definitely different
I mean,
factions
there
of
are-
nerddom.
I think there are nerds still that are bigger than what a nerd would be categorized as. I think if people saw us playing X-Wing miniatures the way that we play X-Wing miniatures, we are nerds. We have yet played the
I
game.
shot you first.
We have We have yet to play the game
My pilot
without,
skill is high enough.
without the soundtrack playing in the background.
I love the fact Mike. Okay, so Mike's referring to X-Wing Miniatures board game that I got for Christmas. We've since then, at this point, played in 2 tournaments, or at least been to 2 tournaments, and watched it. I thought it was hilarious that when you and I sit down here at my house to play, the soundtrack automatically starts. We go to this tournament and
Just to see how the tournament goes and stuff like that.
the format and they draw teams by giving out different colored dice. There's like 2. You guys both got purple dice. You're gonna play against each other. We got green dice. We're gonna play each other. And then he's like, all right, guys, you got 75 minutes and start now. Somebody else immediately starts the soundtrack and sets their phone down.
And
I was like,
everybody's
oh.
like, yes,
So
let's
that's
go.
that's what you do. You play the Star Wars soundtrack and you listen and you play X-Wing. So I was kind of bummed that we didn't get I really wasn't bummed, but I thought it would have been appropriate if we'd had like a 20th Century Fox fanfare before we said go. But that's okay. I've embraced
We've
it.
gone on a tangent. Let's
Yeah,
get to
sorry.
our list
Anyway,
here.
the culture's changed and all that.
The
Fantastic.
culture's changed. I feel like the toys had to catch up to that a little bit, and hopefully they learned their lesson. But that's not the first time.
Well, even J.J. Abrams was coming out talking about what a strong female lead character was, and trying to promote it that Star Wars isn't just for boys anymore, and encouraging mothers to bring their daughters to come see the new Star Wars movie and all this kind of stuff. So what better way to do that than with merchandising? And like we talked about
True.
before, when you've got that multi-pack of tall figures, when you've got Finn and Poe Dameron and Kylo
X-Wing
Ren, and then you
pilots.
got an X-wing pilot in there. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Or Bosk.
All right. That'd have been
I mean,
cool.
There is a big
If the TIE fighter pilot, why not bib Fortuna?
But
I mean, come on.
again,
Yeah.
though, the manufacturers, you have to think. Okay, let's pull ourselves back from the emotionality of it. The manufacturers, they got all this capital that they're thrown into it, and they have very little to go on. I guarantee they had very little to go on.
I agree, because even
By what?
models were being leaked.
Right. So very little to go on. They were going to play it safe for an initial launch based upon what information they had, and then once it came out, okay, if Rey turned out to be a really popular character, okay, fantastic, we'll produce something at that point. Yeah, people will probably beat us up a little bit, but in the world today, people will forget in 2 weeks, and everybody will be happy. But I can just understand them not wanting to risk a bunch of capital, not knowing, you've got Rey, Finn, Poe, Kylo Ren, 4 brand new characters. How, and
More
this is a
Poe,
traditionally
2018.
male dominated market, so I understand where they're coming from.
I'm glad. Like I said, I'm just glad they're fixing it. Let's just.
Well,
to be honest,
Of course they're going to fix it because there's a demand for a product and they want to make money.
I'm gonna keep track of who wins each round.
Thank you,
Okay.
thank you, because we really didn't do
So-
that because Doug and I actually looked at this a little bit before the podcast.
And if
'cause
we tie, I'll give it. I'm just gonna give 1 point to each person per each thing.
we
Okay.
Changed our answers.
some of the, exactly. I wrote in pencil. Some of these there's not a clear winner because either A, the movie hasn't been out long enough for us to make the determination, or B, it's sort of
The question wasn't answered in the movie.
yeah.
Okay.
So we'll go with the ones before the movie here starts, and that is just we know it's going to be the largest movie of the year, but by how much? Jurassic World scored 208 million within its opening weekend. What was our predictions going to be? And Doug,
for opening weekend.
for opening weekend, I was farthest away with 304 because I tried to do the Price is Right thing,
Yeah.
and
$1.
$1 over you, and you said 303. But actually, it fell directly between the Dougs. Doug high at 255. Doug Vance said 240. It was 247.9. So about 7 either way.
So we each get a point.
Yeah, each get a point.
Now, unless we're playing Price is Right rules, that means Doug went over and he's out, and Fang gets the point. But
Nope.
Doo-doom, doo-doom.
Good job.
it's interesting. We all thought we were going to see it more than we actually did.
Well,
Well, it hasn't been a month yet.
yeah.
That's true. That's true. But with 6, 7, 4, 4,
I've got a week to see it 4 more times. So
you
it's
might
5 more times.
You might. I don't know. You and I are both 1 apart. Doug is 2 over.
Well, you guys are
And 3 over.
closer, I guess. Right.
Because we both said 4.
So
Okay,
you
so
each get a
1 each.
point.
I guess.
I mean, I want to go see it again. I'll
Well, I do.
Well,
I do
here's the-
too. But
and that's a good question, I guess, maybe that we could talk about just briefly, because I'm to the point now where I feel like I've seen it.
technically, though, I've seen it in IMAX twice, and that's double the price of a regular ticket. So technically, monetarily, I've seen it 6 times.
Well,
I
actually,
can't beat that logic.
if you want to go with monetary times, he paid for one of my tickets and my daughter's. So
That's true.
So
And I paid for IMAX for like 3 other people that have yet to pay me back. So I paid for like 10 people.
I would have went to IMAX if I'd known you were paying.
go on. So
All right. Well,
I gave
mean,
the points to you and me.
I'm thinking like, I do want to see it again.
Yeah.
I want to see it again in theaters, but I hope they kind of let us know when it's going to come out. You know what I mean? Like, this is the last weekend for Star Wars before we pull it out of the screens. Because that's when I want to see it. I want to get it like one more time to hold me over.
I think
till,
it's there. I think it's there until Batman.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably a safe bet.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that's going to kick it
So
off. Maybe the
if
week
I go
before.
to see Batman and Star Wars is still in the theaters, I'm gonna have a hard time spending money. To
If
see
it's
Batman,
still in the theaters, then it will have beaten Avatar for all time.
which we will have to
Well,
wait and see.
China opened last week, so
No, it didn't. It hasn't opened yet.
China opened. It opened last week by recording time on this.
Okay. Yes.
So-
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm time
we're
traveling.
time traveling.
Okay.
The trailers before the movie, which
Okay.
is sort of a hodgepodge bit here. You
We're
said
gonna
5?
go with opening night. We're gonna go with the opening night.
Why did
list.
it change?
Well, it was different for IMAX. It's
Well,
different
we
for,
read it a little
okay.
bit. So Star Trek and Independence Day. Did you guys see that on IMAX?
no. The
No,
the 70
just do the-
millimeter didn't even have trailers.
Yeah, just
for
do
anything other
opening
than-
night.
Okay, well, all 4 of us were there, so I guess
Right.
that makes more sense. So yours was 5, 6. Mine was 8. We were trying to remember today what we had, but we had Warcraft, the 3 strings, the Korakumi and the 3 strings.
There was the Japanese lady.
Kung Fu Panda 3,
Right.
Zoopolis,
Right.
5th Wave,
Right.
Cap 2, Batman
Cap
versus
3.
Civil
Cap
War.
3.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right, Civil War. Did I already pop a finger for Batman versus
Yes.
Superman?
Yes.
Yeah.
And X-Men Apocalypse.
So 8.
8.
So I got it right.
Okay.
Boom.
Good job.
Good job.
Kind of proud of that.
Okay.
That is by the way, the last one that I get right.
Should have saved that one for last then.
Okay.
This is the trailer one, but we're gonna come back to it. On to the movie. And it's funny because when I wrote these, I apparently had a really strong narrative in my mind when I wrote them, and it got me through episode.
Oh, you had a really
89?
strong narrative for what you thought was going to happen in the movie? No.
All right.
But I'm saying like even like the tone of my questions because I didn't write like full sentences on some of the stuff. So when we were talking looking at it today, I was like, what was I talking about when I wrote this? But now on to the movie. How many paragraphs will be in the opening scroll, which originally I called scrawl, which you guys
Right.
informed me was wrong. And it was
3.
3.
3, 4.
We all get a point.
You all get a point except for me. Which
4.
which direction will the opening pan?
All of us said down,
Down.
right?
Down, down, down. I didn't think it was going to pan at all, so I got another one wrong. Again, I didn't do so hot.
So we're tied,
Yeah.
but Ryan's way behind.
Which OG character will you see first? Which original Star Wars character was you going to see first within the movie? I will say that my wife and my son both said Han Solo was the first character. When we talked about it, we were trying to remember the scene, and maybe you guys can too. Who steps through the archway first?
Han.
Okay. We were trying to remember if Chewie stepped and then Han stepped in front of him,
No.
or if it was
No,
Han and
it's
Chewie
Han.
stepped
Because
out.
you see Han's arm come
Yeah.
around. He goes down the hallway first with his arm,
Yeah.
and then he comes out.
Yeah. So, Doug said Chewie.
Hi.
Fant said R2. You said Chewie, and I said C3PO. So we got no
Yeah.
points correct on that one. Who will say?
So what about the closest to that though?
I knew. I saw it clicking in your head. I knew you were coming to it. Like, so.
I mean,
what if?
Chewie was right behind Han, so
I mean, do we get a point for that?
No.
Anyway.
No.
No, you don't.
No,
All right.
wrong is still wrong. It doesn't matter how close
Okay.
to wrong you
All
got.
right.
Who will say? Do you remember which quote we bet on?
May the force be with you.
Not yet.
Oh.
Which, by the way, I got. That
I have
one
a
wrong.
bad feeling about this.
Yeah, I have a bad feeling. Who said it?
Han.
You thought it would be Ray. You thought it'd be Finn, because all you do is follow Doug. You thought it'd be Ray, and apparently all I do is follow Doug. I thought it'd be Finn. So none of us got that right either.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. It seems obvious now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I thought that would have been one of those torch passing moments.
Yeah, me too.
Number of times in which we will see Vader's burnt helmet. What's
One.
our ruling on that?
It was
2. 1 or no?
It's 1, isn't it?
Well, you see it. Do you see it from the side and then from the front, or do you
Are you
just-
talking? Sorry. Are you talking about shot or scene?
shot or scene? Yeah, I guess we
It
didn't.
says number of times we see Vader's helmet,
Because there's the scene where he's talking to it.
but that's it.
That's the only scene. But is there 2 shots? The
You-
side.
I was
and the
thinking
front?
so.
I didn't think you saw it from the side. I saw maybe you saw like
But
the top
that's
half.
I will say 1. I think it's 1 because that's one
Well, it's
scene.
Okay.
over under 3, so as long as it's not more than 3 times.
Right.
I will say I did read online that when he takes off that helmet and slams it down in the interrogation room, into that. Did you guys read what that
They're
was?
supposed to be Vader's ashes.
Those are Vader's ashes.
No.
I don't believe that. for
No,
a second.
that's the to make the hot prods to
It's his
interrogate
ashtray.
people. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
that's
It's
it.
the-
He
it's
would
the
not take his
mix of
grandfather's
hot-
ashes.
Yeah, I
and-
care a lot about you. Like, no,
that
that's-
makes way more sense.
It's an interrogation room. I knew exactly what it was. It was a hot embers to burn people with to interrogate them.
Wow. I didn't piece that together. I was just assuming in the Star Wars universe,
Okay.
it
I
always
thought
came,
Kylo had a cat. That's where I was.
little Krylo, little Krylo. No.
So what do
no.
we say?
Under. So you would get a point. Under. You would get a point. Apparently there was some argument here, and I wrote down 3 because you believed it would not be more than 3, it would not be less than 3. So you wanted just 3,
So I
and
get
then
it.
I said under.
So you don't get a point.
So you don't get a point.
Oh, all right.
But I did get one right. Let's be honest.
So give
you go.
Ryan his point.
I did.
All right.
And then flashback. Yes or no? Do we
Yes.
want to talk about that at all? Because, like we said,
I
it
consider
wasn't
it
a
a
flashback.
I consider it a flashback.
It was a psychic event.
Yeah,
don't-
that's
we
a
don't-
flashback.
but
we don't-
for
But
the
a
purpose,
flashback still has to give information about the story to come.
It does.
It just added more questions.
it's a flashback.
Supposed to.
Okay. Well, we all said yes anyway, so obviously it doesn't matter. We get a point or lose a point. But I did think it was interesting that we don't know that either A, all the things that happened in that flashback actually happened the way they were perceived to happen, or B, that they happened to that character at all.
Like we talked about earlier, it was a flashback, but definitely not the flashback that I thought it was going to be. I was expecting a full Bespin thing just based on,
Yeah.
when they released the Luke figure and Bespin and the Darth Vader figure, I thought it was going to be some kind of throwback to that.
Well, if
Which
they would have kept
deleted
the full,
scenes,
yeah.
maybe there will be.
I think
because it starts in that hallway.
I think one of the scenes, I think she's seeing her flashbacks in most of that, because I think the scene where it's raining and it's the Brotherhood's there and it's her as a full adult.
Not this Brotherhood.
Yeah,
You mean the Knights of Ren?
right.
Knights
the
of
Knights of
Ren.
Rim.
Not the Brotherhood of Ren.
Yeah, I screwed it up. But anyway,
That's on my poster. Thanks, Kyle Swift.
I think her standing there as herself, I think that's her flashing back to her as a child. And I think that we're going to see that scene with a child there. And
How
that's-
does she survive that
Thinks-
then?
That's,
I don't-
that's
Luke
good.
saves her?
We can talk about that later.
And then he leaves her.
That's a
Like,
good
that's
theory, though.
That's like my hero. That's my hero.
That's assuming
Like
that's
ditching his kid.
Yeah, but it's not his kid.
That's a question later on we have to talk about. Speaking of Luke, because apparently that's what I thought the flashback was going to completely entail. Speaking of Luke, how long is he in the movie? Now, we did have discussion about this. I originally changed this as an over under 4 minutes. Based on the notes that I have here and sort of the conversation that I can remember, I think we were deciding that 4 minutes was too long of a period of time for all of
Yeah.
us. So we put a minute or less than a minute. What's our ruling on that?
I think it's. Yeah, I mean, technically,
was it? Did
if
we go
you-
down to a minute? I thought we said 3 minutes.
if you include the,
3 minutes or less than 3 minutes. I think it's a minute or 3 minutes or less.
so if you include
Yeah, I'm
the
pretty
shot
sure-
of him standing there, turning around straight to his face, and then if you include that whole like flyover pan, it's going to be over a minute. But if you take out the
Are
flyover,
you sure it was a minute or less?
I wrote down M or less than M. I don't know what. Go back. That's your assignment this week, Brotherhood members. Go
Anyway,
back and
well, what
listen
did
to
we
it.
say?
Well, I'm not telling you until you tell me what your answer is on whether or not you feel like it was a minute or less. Which one?
It was close.
it's like right at a minute probably.
It's-
I would say I would call it a minute.
Well, here,
I would just
I
write it
bet
out.
we can Google.
Because you gotta, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do that, you gotta count that split second of the flashback when his hand's reaching up, touching R2. Also,
yeah, well, we don't know that, Tim.
That's true.
Well, yeah,
We don't know that, Tim.
It is. I mean, obviously, because you
no,
see his
no, you have to go back and listen to the
'Cause
old
you see his-
podcast
'cause
because
you
this
see
is an
his
argument
hand.
I had forever.
because you see his hand in the shot when he turns around. So
Because I
well,
would
my,
say
my
that's
whole
Luke.
my whole thought process when we were just talking about that was, I wonder if that's like Luke returning to the temple after the Knights of Ren had destroyed it, and he's kind of seeing the destruction and just kind of, R2, look what they did.
yeah,
I just went to Tashi Station and I come back.
See, I go to Tashi Station for 5 minutes. I leave Kylo in charge.
every time I leave people, they're burned to the ground.
I don't.
And I don't think it's also a coincidence that you're always with me, R2.
yeah.
I can't.
almost
I
blacked
can't
out,
find it.
honestly.
I think it's right at a minute.
Let's just call it a minute.
It
Are
doesn't-
we sure?
Yeah, move on.
That's
Everybody
the-
gets a point.
Okay, so Doug said it would be a minute. Doug Fant said it'd be a minute. Mikey said it'd be a minute. I said it'd be less than a minute.
so everybody, but
We'll give you your
Ryan-
sympathy point.
Just everybody gets a point. I mean, it's splitting hairs at this juncture.
Will there be a
Yeah.
secret scene at the end of the movie?
No.
I'm actually saying that the whole the finding Luke Skywalker is a secret scene. So everybody loses a point except for me, and I gain a point.
Okay, so everybody gets a point and Ryan doesn't.
You're right.
Okay.
Star Killer Base.
We all get a point.
It's
We
true.
all got a point.
You all said
For
no.
what?
There would not be a
We
secret
said there would
scene.
be no trailer at the end or whatever.
And
No
I-
mid-credit trailer.
And
And-
Ryan
and
did?
I was trying to be
Okay.
contrary. I think at
My
that
bad.
point, my wife was like, I saw when
He had Marvel on the mind.
she was like, why did you say all these things? I was like, because I didn't want to just repeat what everybody else was saying. She was like, well, then you needed to preface that with, I may not believe this, but I'm going to play devil's advocate. And I was like, yeah, that's entertaining
The guy-
podcast.
The
That's
guy
like
at
what
the
I was doing
IMAX.
with Luke or
The-
with Han not dying.
when we
I was
saw this-
trying to.
When we saw
Be-
the
We're
70,
getting there. Don't worry.
when we saw the 70 millimeter IMAX, the guy was like, "There isn't anything after, so you don't have to hang out."
Yeah.
He made it very clear, like, there's nothing after the credits except for the bad robot thing. So
Just get out so we can.
yeah, so we.
We know that Starkiller Base is a super weapon. We know
Right.
that it's fired at least once. Will it be fired more than once? I've over under 3 is what we put. All of us said under. All of us were wrong because it was actually fired one time with 4 bullets and destroyed 4 planets. Sorry, we
It was
did
more
not.
than 4.
No, it was fired once though,
It's fired once.
But it had 4 bullets.
but it was fired once.
It ejected its energy one time.
we all get a point then.
It
We all-
ejaculated all over the universe.
Exactly.
That blew up.
A hyperspace weapon that destroyed the Hosnian system, the temporary capital of the Republic.
Yeah.
But I do want to make one point. I don't know if you guys would agree or not that I don't think, other than making a similarity between this movie and A New Hope, I thought Starkiller Base was kind of a waste for this
Yep.
movie.
Yep.
Same.
And let's talk about that because now we don't have to worry about it anymore. Because my very next question was, will it be destroyed at the end of the movie? Doug said no.
Ooh.
Fant said yes.
Oh,
Mike said no. Ryan said yes.
Okay.
all right.
For bonus points, I wrote down exactly like it is in Return of the Jedi, with Wedge Antilles flying inside of it, and I didn't write all that, but I should have. I don't know why I didn't see it. This question we cannot answer. Will it be nominated for a Oscar? We all kind of said yes, and I'll be honest, like it doesn't look like that's what's going to happen. It's not getting that sort of buzz at this point.
Yeah,
and when
I
you
don't.
look at,
I mean,
I
I
thought
don't
it
even know
was
if
not
it'll-
nominated for.
nothing's been nominated yet. Even Golden Globes haven't occurred yet. We Googled it before we came here
Really?
today.
I don't even know if it'll get like best cinematography.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It could be like a Return of the King thing where they just wait till the third one comes out and give it all the awards.
Abrams will be pissed.
Do you really? By the way, you've just been elected King of the Galaxy. Sorry, you're not going to get a little gold statue.
Happened to what's his face with
He's like, I've got C-3PO. I've got my gold statue.
Exactly.
buddy."
All right, next
Anthony
question.
Daniels from here forever just follows him around.
yeah.
Okay, so we won't know the answer to that, but we feel pretty sure it's probably not going to happen. Hey, guess what? I'm going to get the next one wrong because the question was over under how many times will "May the Force be with you" be uttered, and the over under was 3 times. It was said once.
Yes.
I would almost give this 1.5. I will take Han Solo saying it's all true as his way of saying "May the Force be with you."
No.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Yep. You're not going to change your mind on
No.
it?
Well, guess what?
It
I get
doesn't
to
matter.
do the points. So
Okay,
what do
who,
we
Uh,
do?
who all got points?
You said under it be uttered twice.
Doug.
You said Fant said under it'd be uttered 1 time. Mike said under it'd be uttered 1 time. I said over with 3 times.
Okay.
So, and then we went to some theories, some theory bets here that we sort of talked about. Will the Solo or Skywalker kids be present in the movie? It's hard for us to answer that question because we still don't know who Rey is.
We know who Kylo is.
I know that, but
So clearly,
but
yes.
you said twins. Was your response?
I thought twins too.
oh,
No,
you mean
no,
mean
you didn't.
you mean what was their relation?
What did I
It
say?
said, "Will the Solo / Skywalker kids be present in the movie?" You
So
said
how does
yes, twins.
that- Okay, so
You
yes.
said yes, twins, Rey and Kylo. You said no, just Kylo. And I
Oh, I
said twin.
did?
Yes.
So technically, I'm the only one
But-
that's right.
But we don't know if you're the only one that's
Well,
right.
I'm
Okay,
the only
okay.
one that's right.
Okay,
Shut up.
all right. With
You're
the-
telling me that Leia looked at her daughter and was like, I don't know who the hell you are.
okay, but listen to how the question was stated. Will the what?
Solo. Okay.
Read the question.
You get a point, Doug. We're not.
Read the
No,
question.
he did,
Read
doesn't
the
get a
question.
point.
Yeah, he does.
Solo / Skywalker kid. And then I had kids, but Mike had me slash it out because he said no, it'd just be 1 child.
Okay.
Be present in the movie. Your response, and I wrote it down, was twins.
Okay.
Your response was twins, and I even wrote down Rey and Kylo. Your response was Kylo, 1 child, and I wrote down twin for myself.
Okay.
I'm pretty proud of myself with that.
So Kylo, but he
I
didn't.
called that
he
pretty
doesn't
well.
specify.
And I did say, I said
he
Bryn would kill
he
Han.
doesn't specify Solo or Skywalker, so therefore he does not get the
He
point.
gets a point.
So am I the only one
Will-
that gets
Yes.
a point there?
Okay, and
Tight.
I would say so.
again, we were parsing this out a little bit. Number 17. Will Han Solo say, "I am your father" at any point during this
No.
movie? We all said no.
He does say, he doesn't say, I'm your father, but he does, what does he say
Didn't he
to
say
him?
like
He-
you're my son?
Take
or
your
something?
mask off.
The face
I
of
wanna
my
see my
son.
son.
He says what
What do you
expect
think you'll
see?
see?
And he goes, the face of my son.
He doesn't ever say father, though, does
No.
he?
Leia
to
says
him,
father
that's
because he
right.
says,
Leia
"If Luke
says-
can't help me, what am I? You're his father."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta say it without moving your cheeks. You're his father. Like
It was Snoke.
that was pretty good.
That was.
That was really good.
I'm stopping this train right now because I'm a believer
that
in
bugged
Carrie
me.
Fisher and her anti-body shaming.
Carol.
Will
I don't want to say anything about
I
her
could
body.
care less how old she is. Just open your damn jaw when you
She-
talk.
she
can't.
She
can't.
can't.
That's Botox, my friend.
She actually had to try very hard to talk that normally in the
Yeah.
movie.
Man,
She looked really good for
Yeah,
looked-
she
did.
looked
She looks
great.
good.
She's
Her
59.
voice just bugged me.
She's 59. I looked it
but
up last
for
night.
partying
For 59, she
however
looks,
many years of her life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who, if any, will die?
'Kay.
Doug,
Yes.
I don't know if we give you half a point for this,
Yes.
but
Max von Sydow.
your prediction is that Finn would die, Kylo would also die, and Max von Sydow
So I get
will live.
a point and a half. Max von Sydow died. Finn would have died if he had not been rescued.
We'll say you get 1 point because they
Finn doesn't
cancel each other
die.
out.
He was cut up the back
The-
with a lightsaber.
The fact that you thought Kylo was
Listen,
going to die should
They
deduct like
they
4
cancel
points.
each other out, so you get 1 point.
Okay, I get a point.
So one
I just
lived
didn't-
and one
I
You've
died.
didn't
been
wanna go-
bamboozled,
I
my
did
friend.
not want to go with the. I didn't want to go with the obvious choice of saying Han.
Nobody did almost. Finn and Han were your predictions. Thought it was a one
So
and
he gets a
done
point.
character. Well, how's that work?
No, he
No,
can't.
mine
They
cancels
cancel
out,
it
too.
out.
Okay.
So you're gonna end up good on this one. Calm down.
Mikey gets. He said Han and Leia would both die,
So mine cancel each other out.
and I said Han would die, just by himself.
What name did you erase?
I erased Luke. I erased Luke Skywalker.
I don't trust me. I don't need to lift my finger for any reason.
It's good. It doesn't say wedge Antilles underneath there. There's no
All right.
Porkins.
Did you see the meme
Yes.
today of when
When
with-
did this
with
become
become,
hot or something?
with Poe Dameron here and then Jet Porkins next to him?
Yeah, it's like when did this
Just
become
become
hot,
hotter than this.
and then this isn't kind of thing. They're both in their suits and everything. It's really funny.
All right.
Plagueis Snoke?
We don't know.
Yes? No? 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 We don't know.
We don't know.
Well,
Andy Serkis
we
says
don't
it's
know,
not.
but Andy
We d-
Serkis told us it isn't.
But he could be lying.
But then again,
It's true.
Wrath of Khan wasn't, or Star
That's
Star
true.
Trek 2 was not.
We
Wrath
don't
of
know.
Khan.
Nobody
Khan-
gets.
Khan
I still.
wasn't
I
in-
mean, Circus still has. Still has to be on non-disclosure.
Oh,
agreement.
yeah.
I mean,
We,
We'll
nobody
just leave
knows.
that one blank.
Apparently, I was throwing a point away on this last one. The last question was, will Jar Jar make an appearance in this movie?
we don't know.
Could have. Maybe he's Darth Plagueis.
Shut up.
We didn't see him.
We didn't see underneath all those helmets.
Just shut up.
Jar Jar did not make an appearance.
You know, George, he would have to be. How old would Jar Jar be?
First off, you're assuming you understand the life cycle of a Gungan.
I,
Do you?
I'm assuming that I wish they would. If
Well,
I would go by what
I
they,
would-
if
I'm
I would go by
comparing
what
it
the
to
old
other-
ones would look like, he would look like about 400 pounds and be like,
No, that's a different subsection of their own species.
no, I think that's the
No,
old
that's the
guys.
leader
It's
cast.
the Brian Blessed subsection of.
They're reptiles. So really, as long as
Are
it's
they?
cold outside, they never.
So
age.
everyone gets a point on this one except for
Yes.
you, right?
Did you say
Yep.
yes, Jar Jar?
I
would've-
said yeah. I was
Okay.
hoping that JJ is going to redeem him.
You're an idiot.
The best thing they could have done to open this movie was just have Jar
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 Jar-
in a firing
The
line.
first sentence in the scroll should have been, "Jar Jar Binks has died."
Well, I think we need to
no,
see it though.
it just should
That
say
should have been the flashback scene.
It should have said, "Binks is
It should-
dead."
Luke Skywalker has vanished and Jar Jar is never to be seen. This could have been the first sentence.
Binks.
No, you know what they should have shown him on the since he became a senator. They
Yeah,
should have shown him on the Hazian system blowing up. Oh, he
that would have been hilarious.
Yeah,
that
to be
would have
honest,
been perfect.
that all goes by pretty quick. We haven't had a really chance to
Oh,
analyze
he
that
might be
scene
in the
from scene.
background or something. That would have leaked. That would have been out already if he was. Someone would have found that.
If his
and
little
screenshot it.
weird eye stalks were like,
Misa gonna die.
Annie?
Grand-
Was that the last
Annie's
question?
grandson?
Was that it?
Yeah.
Was that it?
It was.
That's the
weird.
last
it
question.
felt
took
like
us-
there was a
it
lot
took us
more.
an hour and like
I know.
40 minutes the first time.
That was a weak last question.
It was. I'm sorry.
All right, let's do some totals.
But how many trailers was before the movie?
8.
I got that one right.
How many
Yes,
trailers
it
that
is.
we had not seen already and really didn't care about?
Okay, so what was your take on the sloths? At all?
I hate that trailer.
I think a trailer
It was.
hilarious.
I enjoyed
I've
it the
showed
first
it,
time.
I've showed it to so many people. I think it's hysterical.
Flash,
Yes.
flash, 100-yard dash. But I do agree. Fan told me, he said, it's appropriate that this is the trailer that's right before this movie, because
It
all
was,
of us
man.
was like, 2309. 2309. Punch it in. 0309.
Yeah.
309.
It was perfectly made for that movie. Yeah, that was a fantastic thing.
And then that
So.
throwaway trailer for whatever the fourth cycle or whatever.
Fifth wave.
So-
Close.
Fourth
I don't know.
Fourth cycle comes out
fifth
next
wave. The ninth
I think that one has to do
round,
with
something
menopause.
like that. Okay, are we waiting for
All right,
totals?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
you got it totaled?
Yeah, I do.
I just want to know.
I did in
like,
Excel. It was very
Is
quick.
there a winner
I think one of the Dougs won
There's a tie.
for first place?
Yeah.
between Mike and Doug.
Well, you came in last place with 8 points.
Well, right. It's going to be Mike and Doug in any combination. Well, I guess it's could be Doug's. Could be Doug's.
You came in last place with 8 points.
I'm proud of that 8 points.
Congratulations.
Okay.
You know, to be honest, I know the loser doesn't typically give a speech.
Okay. Let's not break with tradition, Ryan.
Mr. 4 paragraphs.
You go ahead and start that speech whenever you want to.
Sorry, you're just going to tune me down.
I'd start the music.
Just keep it to 3 paragraphs or less.
I just felt like, even though I got all these prop bets wrong, I was proud of how much of the movie we was able to sort of parse together, and I got to see a story that I wanted to see. So I'm
Am I the only one of us that said that Rem was going to kill Han?
no. You can go back to an
No,
October
he-
episode where I talk about that.
I just
Well,
I vehemently did not want them to go down that route. It made the most sense, but I didn't want it.
When Noah was on the episode and we talked about whether or not Luke was going to have to go through forgiveness of Kylo or he was going to fight Kylo, that's when we talked about that.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm in last place with 8. Grade 8
Well, we know there's a tie, so we'll give that
trait,
out.
trait, or
The tires for first place
so who's
with 11
in
points.
third?
11
Who's in
points.
third?
Who's in?
Well, if I say that, then we know who got.
That's
it's
true. That's true.
tied.
Who cares?
You're so much better at this than Steve Harvey.
Okay.
Wait, I made a mistake. Ryan actually won. No, I came in second with 10, and the Dougs tied with 11.
Awesome.
And actually, there was only 2 questions that you guys did separate. That one of you got right. And
Do you
the
want to tell
other
me
one got
do you know what the numbers were?
No, because I skipped over the blanks and stuff like that. So
Oh.
it was the second to last one,
I don't know. I'm not pulling it back up.
and then up further. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you had won, you would have pulled back out.
Yeah.
I want to know.
I'm pulling it out, dude.
The second to last question.
Second to last question, Hyatt got right.
So that was the who
and-
would die. That would be
and-
the who would die.
and Fant.
The canceling out of the points for
Yeah, and then Fant didn't, and then up further, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4
I'm just looking to
questions.
see where they answer differently.
Oh,
at.
the next one that was you and Fant were the only 2 that got it right. Wherever
Hmm.
that is. So
the excitement of page turning.
I know. It's so amazing.
And I didn't even see it.
So okay.
Okay.
But those are the 2 that you guys, but everything else you guys were in line with.
Oh,
so
is at the end is the Starkiller base destroyed?
there you go.
Right.
Doug
So-
was just wishful. Hyatt was just wishful thinking on that one.
Yep.
So yeah.
So we are the deal is we're never going to talk about Star Wars again. We're done for the
Are we?
podcast. Episode 7 is
And this is
in-
our last episode.
and this is we're going to put a fork in it and we're done with episode 7
We're pod
all
fading.
the way.
Okay.
So 11 months till Rogue One comes out, and there's been absolutely no spoilers at all on Rogue One.
I thought we would get a teaser trailer for it.
I'm kind of bummed we
No.
haven't.
You'll probably get one for Civil War, I bet,
Yeah.
around there.
It's so weird to think that those franchises are interchanged now.
Right.
But we had a teaser trailer a full year out for 7 Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
a year and a month out.
But it was 7.
We're 11 months away from Rogue One coming out.
They're
and
still
we haven't-
like casting people or finalizing their casting.
principal photography has to be wrapping up. It's supposed to be done in December.
What?
Rogue One.
Yeah. That is weird to think we're already in that year. Like, I feel like I waited so long.
You,
Waited.
you know who pulled that? You know who brought that to my attention? Noah. We were talking about what Star Wars was going to earn and how much money it was going to make, and I was a bit like, and I told you about this today, and you brought me back to earth a little bit.
Doug fan.
That not just because it's Star Wars, not everyone's going to wait out inside and wait in line for it. But I was like, well, I bet it's going to be the highest grossing movie of 2016 too. And Noah was like, no, it's not. There's another Star Wars movie coming out this year. I was like, oh, you're right. There is. There's another Star Wars movie coming out this year.
And then we only have 5 months until the next one.
You think
Next
Rogue One's going to earn more than Batman? Didn't we ask that
No,
already?
no, and
I think Civil War comes out this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
You
gonna,
have
that's going to
Batman-
be the highest grossing movie, I think.
You think more than Batman versus Superman?
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll take the opposite bet on that one.
Oh, well,
I
do you want
think-
me to write this stuff down, guys?
I think
mean,
You
Batman versus Superman is going to be the one to beat.
Yeah.
Really?
If it's good, the first weekend, if it comes out and it blows everybody's mind away, then I think it's got legs.
I think, Mike, I think that's where the table has shifted here to this diagonal a little bit. I'm still under the impression it's a steaming pile of garbage. Like
I don't think it's that.
What?
I don't think it's that.
See, I think
I don't think it doesn't have the backing that Civil War does. Civil War has all these Marvel movies that's holding it up to make everyone go
Well-
see it. Batman doesn't really have anything.
Well, I will
it's
say
not
this.
Batman. It's Superman.
Whatever.
It's Batman.
It's
I mean,
Superman.
It's a Batman
No.
movie.
It's a Superman movie.
No, it's not. It's going to be
It's-
all about Batman.
And
So I
that's-
think people are going to go see this for reasons more so other than the story. They're going to go to see
They're going to
how
see
Ben
it for
Affleck is going to
Batman.
do as Batman, and just seeing the two iconic characters on screen together. I mean, for anything else, I could care less about the story. It's just the visual
That's
of seeing
true.
them on screen together.
You know, the more and more I think about it,
it's
I'm-
all for It's
I'm
all
gonna
because
get
of Batman.
I'm gonna get pulled more to that side because you know what? I think it will have a longevity more than what Civil War does because I
Only
think
if it's
Civil
good.
War is going to die
Which it
down
won't
because
be.
Civil War is going to be so deep that I think it's not going to have the return that
Well,
everyone-
and speaking on that notion, I think at this point, Marvel's getting to the point where
it's hitting.
the comic books are. Like, if you haven't seen or read or been up to date, I don't know how they're going to do Civil War as a standalone movie. No one's going to be able to come in to watch Civil War and be like, who's the guy with the metal arm and why is he here and why is Captain America
we
and
know
Iron
who
Man
he
fighting
is.
each other? Because I mean, both these movies have very similar sort of storylines. They take the two
I mean,
good
we know who
guys.
Bucky is. I mean,
We know who Bucky is, but I'm telling you, like,
everyone knows who Bucky is because he was in the other Captain America movie.
Yeah.
not everybody saw the other Captain America.
Then
movie.
why are you going to see the third one if you haven't seen the second
Because
one?
they're
Who
not
are you, a
they're not
retard?
calling it Captain America 3. They're calling
For
it
other
Civil
characters.
War.
They're calling it Captain America Civil War.
You're a dingus if you haven't seen the second one and you're going
But
to see this one.
they are
Who
promoting
went and
it.
saw Jedi and
They
didn't see
are
Empire?
they are not promoting it as a Civil War movie. They're promoting it as Captain America, and every indication is they're going to continue to promote this as a Captain America movie.
But
So
then
you
when
should
And
see
Steve,
the
James
second-
Gunn
So then when
saw
Steve
it. He's
Rogers
seen the
dies
movie,
at
and
the
he
end of
said
it.
it is the best Marvel movie that has been produced to date.
of course he has to say that. He's making Guardians of the Galaxy.
Better than he's saying it's,
It's better than
Guardians.
Guardians. He's saying
Guardians
it's
is
the
my
best.
number one. Ant-Man was pretty good. I rewatched Ant-Man the other day.
It is good.
It is pretty.
But I
good.
think still, I
you
think
seen Ant-Man?
just because of all of the
Neither have I.
anticipation of
Neither have I.
Batman, and it's all because of Batman,
yeah.
It's a Superman movie.
it's a Batman movie.
It's a Superman movie.
If it was just Superman 2, it would not
That's
be
weird
getting the
because
buzz.
if
That's what it
if
is.
you look at the timing in the trailers, I can bet Batman has more time on those trailers than
Nope.
Superman does.
Nope.
Bull.
Nope.
There's the whole scene of him like, okay, are we gonna count the split second of him and Zod fighting, crashing through the building as Batman's saving the little girl, or Bruce Wayne is.
I'm kind of good at this stuff, and I'm telling you right now, it's a Superman movie. It's a Superman movie.
I'm kind of good at this stuff. I only scored 8 points on predicting everything for the Star Wars movie. But
Hey, I will give Ryan credit. He called the Luke Skywalker thing. a long time ago.
But I'm telling you, this is a Superman movie. They're playing up the Batman part because that's the part that people are interested in. But I'm telling you,
Supposedly
If that's
they're
what
gonna.
they're interested in, why wouldn't they
But
make
see,
a
I don't-
movie that people
because
are
that's
interested in?
this movie was in production long before people realized that the Batman part was going to be cool.
But there was no traction until they finally got. Hey, we should interject Batman into it.
I think it's going to be a Wonder Woman movie.
Well, you got so many of those people in there now that it's going to be an assembler sort of without
have we
Superman
confirmed
being.
Aquaman?
Regardless, yeah, he's
Yeah,
supposed to be in it.
basically he's going to be on like a security cam screen that Batman sees when he's in that little Superman. war room.
Regardless, all
Cool.
the
Lex
future
Luthor-
of
Lex
the
Luthor's
future of the DC
Yeah.
moviedom hinges upon this movie.
Right.
Okay.
If it totally blows and tanks, it's going to be very difficult to get the momentum to ramp up and duplicate what Marvel has done.
To do the
But
Justice
I'm
League.
telling you right now, I think the only thing that's pushing I wish it was successful. I really do. I just think they're biting off way more than they can chew, and they haven't laid the groundwork in. I mean, we went
Yeah.
through like 4 horrible Punisher
How
movies
have they not
before
laid the
Marvel figured it
groundwork?
out.
My biggest complaint is that I
People-
think they should
If-
have given Ben Affleck his solo Batman movie
Well,
before they brought him together.
I think
Tell me-
if Suicide Squad was before Batman versus Superman, I don't
No.
even think we would. I think Suicide Squad is actually going to do a lot more damage than good because we're not ready for that. In the series of
No.
things as consumers,
Yeah.
we're not ready to understand that storyline. And Suicide Squad
There
looks
isn't
awesome.
any more buildup that you need to do for this movie, I don't think. I think this is a perfect time for this movie.
How many times was Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man before we started putting together the pieces?
How
And I'm
big?
not- I'm
how
not
big
saying
was
they were
Iron Man?
well.
How big was Iron Man before the movies came out?
He
was
wasn't.
squat. Superman is Superman. Go
But-
ask my grandma who Superman is.
but
She knows who that
He
is.
has Superman expectations. And that's
Yes.
exactly what happened with Man of Steel.
And he's going to
And they
turn
should
it
have
around
looked
in
at
this
Man
movie.
of Steel and fixed it instead of trying to move forward with it. And they didn't. They're moving forward with it. Now,
You
well,
said Man of Steel is good now.
I didn't say Man of Steel was good. I said I understand
like
what was
Man of
happening.
Steel?
I understand what they were doing with Man of Steel, and they're trying to humanize these characters. But forever, listen to whatever I've ever said about
I don't
DC. These are godlike characters we will never be able to relate to.
I think
Ever.
I think this movie's going to be good.
I have a Superman freaking shirt on right now. But,
but as far as your argument goes that this is a Superman movie, yeah,
It's a Batman movie.
it's a Batman movie because they're going to have to introduce Ben Affleck's Batman, give a little bit of his history, and kind of build him up.
I'm assuming, and I think this is sort of the path that they're going at this point, that we know these things, and that's why we didn't get a Batman origin movie with Ben Affleck as Batman. I think that DC
'Cause
is
this is
going to
it.
assume that we know them, and then they're going to go from there. I really do feel like it's a Superman movie. When it's all said and done, who has to beat Doomsday?
You don't have, but the thing is, you're telling us that this movie needs to retell the Batman story that's been told
So
3
I'm
know-
not saying that at
know-
all. I'm saying they're assuming that we know that, so they're not telling
you
us
know
that
how
part of
hard
it.
it's
'Cause
going to
everyone
be. But do you
does,
know how
because
hard
it's
it's
been
going to
told
be
so
to
many
make
times.
this with your assumption it's a Superman movie to tell a Superman story for him to develop into Superman, interject Batman, the second biggest, and if you want to go movie wise, probably the biggest franchise they have.
Absolutely.
Then interject Wonder Woman that they're trying to leap pad into this new female, super market, and then
All these girls are making Doug
then
uncomfortable.
no,
The Flash.
oh, is he in it too?
The Flash is in it too.
and Aquaman, for
Aquaman is
probably
in
some. So trying to do all of that in 2 hours and 30-ish minutes.
Be a
And to
long
have an
movie.
epic battle between Superman and them, and maybe Doomsday, and
But
do
that's
they
what
go
I'm
the
saying
route
is
of?
that we're not going to. We're expecting to see a fisticuff match between Batman and Superman,
This
and-
probably won't happen.
and it's not going to happen. If it does happen, it's going to be very small, very quick, and it's going to be over in a heartbeat. The main villain in the movie is not the Joker. The main villain in the movie is not a Batman villain. It is a Superman villain. In fact, it's not one Superman villain, it's two. Both Lex Luthor, who has all the same tools that Bruce Wayne does, has all the same capabilities as Bruce Wayne, and in all actuality is an exact foil of Bruce Wayne. The super rich, tech heavy psychopath. Who am I talking about? Lex Luthor or Bruce Wayne? You don't know. because it describes them both.
I thought you were talking about Donald Trump. Sorry.
Yeah, or him. But
Hey,
and
he's great at war.
at war and at telling Superman
I am
stories.
the most militaristic guy in this room.
I mean, you have all, and then you have this monster. You have this creature that is made from Superman Kryptonian DNA.
I really hope that they can pull it off, and it does not. It's not like you said, a pile of garbage or whatever.
I just think we're going to come away from it like going, what? No. We're going to go 2 more steps beyond. So, like, Man of Steel left me feeling that, that's 1 step away from Superman. And I was kind of okay with it because they never actually say Superman, and they never call him Superman, and he doesn't have red underwear. He has a blue suit, a fully blue suit, whatever. You know, so he's a character who is like Superman, or he's a retelling or reimagining of Superman, and I'm okay with it. That's fine. But I think when we get to Batman versus Superman, or let's go Dawn of Justice, which is what it's supposed to be called, because it's the dawn of the Justice League. We're going to get 2 hours of really forced, really quick and dirty setup, and then it's going to be a boxing match, which, I mean, looking at the trailer, Batman and Superman are still sort of fighting each other, or something's happening when I don't know what you want to call him. Do we want to call him
Whatever.
do we want to call
Whatever
him
it is.
Doomsday, or we want to call him
Zod,
General Zod,
Reborn,
or what
or
do we
what-
want to? Because
I
that's who it
think
is.
they're calling him Doomsday. So let's go. with
Whatever.
So
it is.
they're still sort of fighting when Doomsday lands. So like,
Or is born.
or yeah,
Or
Yeah.
whatever. Created.
birthed. And then Wonder Woman just appears. Like, I'm trying to imagine a story where the two
There's a lot.
protagonists can still be at odds with one another, and then immediately be like, "Wait a minute, cool, you're not the alien I'm fighting right now. I need to fight this one." And then all of a sudden, it's like assemble, Voltron assemble. Let's do this. It just seems rushed. It seems haphazard.
But
It
does
seems incomplete.
But does it seem rushed to you because you've had all these movies for Marvel to build this? Now we're used to that idea.
No,
To be able to take all of these characters and give them their own movies to build this pyramid of the Avengers. Can we do it in one movie? Probably.
Let's go
Not-
back there a little bit,
not
because
well, I
not
don't think.
everything that Marvel has done has been golden. Let's be honest. Iron Man 2 is terrible. Iron Man 3 is almost worse.
But we've made movies to build the pyramid of the Avengers.
But
Right.
like I just said, I feel like we're to the point now where we're so far deep into this that the normal, like, and I don't know who the normal moviegoer is anymore. Does the normal moviegoer, have they seen every Marvel movie that's come out? Are they ready for Stephen Strange? Like,
No, they're not
my
ready for
biggest-
them. They're not ready for Black Panther.
My biggest
Well, they will be after Black Panther's in Civil War. But
my biggest prediction forever, which didn't come true, and I'm the first to admit that, was I never thought Ant-Man was going to fly. And it is a very, all things being told, it's a very funny movie.
It's
an
enjoyable.
enjoyable movie.
proves that Marvel can't do wrong.
But I still haven't seen it.
You haven't seen Ant-Man?
No, it wasn't something I was willing to spend my time or money on to see it in the movies. My son saw it. He went with his mother.
But again,
You should watch it.
But
though.
again, I'm wondering in the scheme of things, though, to understand the story, is it okay if I don't see Iron Man 2? It's really not going to affect anything for the overall arch of the story, because I know who Iron Man is now.
But don't you think that we're
I know
getting to
who
that
Captain
territory with Civil War? I mean, when we're talking about if you set my mom in a movie
I
theater,
think you got to
Or-
get out of your mind, Ryan, though, the comic book concept of the Civil War
It's
is
gonna
how
be
they're
different.
okay,
how
Iron,
they're-
Iron Man and Captain America are going to fight, just like Superman and Batman are going to fight.
right, but how they're going to frame it is going to be, is going to be a different framework,
Right.
And I don't know that it requires
It's not-
that you have
It's
been.
not that far. I mean, the Solovia contract is on the table when you see it in the trailer.
Yeah, but it's not the Mutant Disclosure Act or whatever.
It's-
It's
Right.
basically, hey, if you have superpowers, you need to be reporting to this UN body.
that's the
but-
Mutant
the whole-
Disclosure Act.
But we don't have to reveal. It's not. It has nothing to do with secret identities or anything like
it
that.
will. If not, why would they spend all that money on Spider-Man?
Because who? I don't
think
think
they spent-
Spider-Man's going to be the foil for
I don't
all of
think
that.
they
It's going to
spent
be.
Spot-
It'll be
money on
Bucky.
Spider-Man, did they? What did they?
They're
how
gonna
much did
set-
spend?
they gave Kevin Feige, their lead creator, to
No.
Sony in order
I don't
to
think
make this
Spider-Man's
happen.
going to have a huge. I think he'll have a presence, but I think Bucky will be the foil.
Captain
that-
America's sitting in Peter Parker's living or in the kitchen when in the trailer.
I don't
You see him talking. Okay, we're way off
Yeah.
track, and it has nothing to do with Superman or Star Wars. See, I told you I was done talking about it. I'm not really done talking about it. I love
Yeah,
everything about
we
Star
can
Wars.
we can sense that.
But
I still think back to the original point, Batman versus Superman right now is going to be the movie to beat. If it comes out and they can pull it off, then I think it will be the highest grossing film of the year. If they can't, then it'll be probably close between Civil War and Rogue One.
Right.
I think Force Awakens is still going to have a pretty strong presence in 2016. I mean,
Oh no, it will.
I saw it once in 2016, which is probably a lot more than I'm going to see other movies in 2016. And I know I'm probably going to see it again in 2016, which means I'm going to see it just as many times in 2016 as I saw it in 2015. So, yeah.
So, yeah,
Yep.
yep.
Facebook.com/Buffalo Brotherhood.
I can't believe we didn't talk anymore
Done.
about Star Wars though. You know.
Well, let's talk more about Star Wars because can we talk about your action figures or
Yeah.
collectibles?
Yeah.
What's the proper term? Collectible?
They're action figures.
They're action figures. So this is what happens.
They're not toys by any means, but no.
So Fant comes on the show. And he joins us for it was 3 hours. It was there were two of the longest shows we've ever done. Especially since we went to the the two show format. And we talked about Star Wars nonstop, essentially for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And then I go to work and I see Fant the next day and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring some stuff." And I was going through the garage. I got a bunch of bags in the garage. I'm gonna bring some stuff in if you want to see some Star Wars stuff. And I'm not a big memorabilia guy. I'm not a big, I played with all my toys and I used to joke around, be like, "Hey, when we bought those Gundams, you gonna keep that in the box?" "No, I'm gonna play with mine to make yours worth more." It was sort of the mindset that I always went with. Now I regret that decision a little bit, mainly because now I don't have them anymore. But he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring some bags in and some stuff that I got, some Star Wars stuff." I had no idea at that point that's what we're gonna do. So that you had that as a hobby, I guess, or that you were an enthusiast at that level.
Those are more like during my single days in college.
So I
And,
go into his office, probably the next day, and Tuesday or Wednesday the following week or whatever. And it was just 2 bags the first time, right?
Yeah, I
Just
didn't
two-
want to overwhelm you.
Yeah, it was just 2 bags the first time. But he has some serious collectibles, in the package,
Yeah.
in this blister pack, still there of pretty much probably starting as
Some of them are 20 years old
yeah
when the Force,
From the
When the-
relaunch in the 90s.
Mhm.
yeah
The
big-
muscle men.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's comical. There's I don't know if you have one of everything, but it felt like he had one of everything because then the next day was 2 more bags and maybe a box, and then it was the next day was 2 more bags, but this is a giant enormous Toys R Us bag, and then it was "Oh, don't worry, there's just a few more bags." Then there's 2 more bags the next day, and then finally it's
Or
this is-
when he
this
says
is-
bags, they're Walmart bags.
well, I mean,
Not like trash bags full.
No. They're like 30-gallon.
but
Leave
And this
bags.
is my
But I
Boba
mean-
Fett action figure with the rocket that fires in the backpack. That's worth $100,000.
I didn't see that
No,
one.
no, I don't have that one. My prized possession by far is the original Darth Vader Return of the Jedi figure in the package.
And that looks
Mint
really
condition.
Cool. That looks really
Yeah.
cool, and is awesome.
Well, see,
And
we
just
actually
to
watched.
see
There's
some of
a documentary on Netflix about the Star Wars toys.
Is there?
Courtney, yeah, we watched it the other day.
Have you seen it?
No, but
Do tell.
I saw, I don't know if it was Entertainment Tonight or something. Anyway, Rick Springfield, of all people,
Oh,
has
yeah,
one
I
of the
did see
most
that.
immaculate collections of
I saw
Star
that.
Wars
Really?
figures of anybody on the planet. I mean, even figures that other countries copied and tried
Yeah.
to make out to be Star Wars figures, with same style packaging and
Yeah.
everything. He still has those in mint condition.
Yeah.
And
He
protectors
has
and-
some Boba Fett that's white.
yeah, it's
a
the,
white
it's the
Boba Fett.
prototype figure.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I was
it-
talking
there-
about.
There's only one, and he has it. Like
There's
this
a,
is the
there,
only
there's a few
known
of
one.
there's a few of the Boba Fett prototype. There's very 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 few.
There
of
was
them.
something that he had that was like the only known one still in the package or something
Like
like
people
that.
calling me and asking me about that one.
That is the rare Star Wars collectible, the Boba Fett that had the rocket. Because originally his rocket was supposed to
Yeah.
fire in the backpack, but they, with the
Child
choking
safety.
hazard, they decided to go against it. So there's only a handful of the prototypes out there, and they are the rarest, most expensive Star Wars collectible that exists. So like $100,000
It's
plus.
nice to know that Jesse's girl has invested his money wisely.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have been just like cocaine,
But
which
see,
probably some of it was.
it's funny.
But the fact that there's a large percentage of that coin, I feel like I need to buy. Like
This
a
is how,
Ritz-Carlton
like,
album.
back in the 90s, I was a pretty big Star Wars fan. You know, like, literally, I would watch. I had A New Hope on VHS that I'd copied from somewhere, and I would watch it almost every day. And I remember when they relaunched in the 90s, the Bindums were one of the first toys that they came out with. And I bought that pack with Vader and Chewie, and I think Luke and Han, and I think R2 may have been, R2 and 3PO were in it too. But I remember we were so excited to get something for Star Wars that there was a QVC special with Steve Sansweet that they were going to be doing memorabilia, selling on QVC. And I'd saved up a bunch of money from Moon Yards, and I was so close to buying the Yoda. There was a Yoda replica that you could buy, and at the time I think it was like $200 for this Yoda replica. And now if I would have had that, they're so rare now. They're worth thousands of dollars.
Because nothing ever shipped from QVC that was still intact by the time it got to your house. I can tell you about
So-
an RC car that took like 4 times and finally just got a plane. But some of the stuff that he has, though, obviously there's no 3 foot tall that Frank Oz could wear replica.
No,
Yoda.
but that was the relaunch, because I got the relaunch Millennium
95.
the relaunch big
Power of
Millennium
the
Falcon.
Force.
Yeah, I had
And there was some really cool.
And I've sold some stuff too. Like I was telling him, I had this really awesome Jango Fett figure. I mean, it's like I don't know what
18-inch.
18-inch. I mean, it was Jango Fett, but his armor was separate. Every single meticulous piece of armor he could put on. I mean, it was like a $40 thing. I mean, it was like a trifold thing.
Yeah.
I ended up selling. I mean, I made a profit on it, but I wish I would have kept it. Still, I mean, I've got a smaller version. You saw it,
Yeah.
a regular 3.75 inch, and
3.75-inch figure.
with removable armor. But I've got like the Luke and Leia twins.
Yeah,
figures that
babies.
nobody
Babies.
seems to ever know that they existed or something. I've got one. It's Obi-Wan holding baby Luke.
Huh.
And then I've got a Bail Organa holding baby Leia.
It-
They're
it-
separate,
but when you set them together, they sort of the boxes themselves, you can tell they're sort of
Yeah.
meant to be together because they sort of they both go the opposite direction.
And then from Celebration 2, I've got the George Sackle figure, which is just George Lucas in an X-wing fighter pilot, X-wing fighter.
And it's
outfit.
awesome. I didn't get it before until he was like, read the last name backwards, and I was like, I don't know. My phonics skills aren't that strong. This phonics is weak with this one. But it's like it looks like Jet Porkins with a beard essentially. But it's pretty cool. And the fact that was only a Celebration 2 exclusive, it's not
Yeah.
like somebody could have picked that up at Kmart in Wyoming. You had to come to Indianapolis where
Yeah.
Celebration 2 was at.
Right.
And it even
Get
gives
that.
a description of Celebration 2 on the back and says the Indianapolis, Indiana, and the date of Celebration 2 on the back of it. And I've got a Celebration 3 Darth Vader figure, which speaks, says a few phrases. That one's pretty cool.
It's all red tinged around the
Yeah.
outside. Or is that
No,
the
that's the
Target?
Target
That's
exclusive.
the Target exclusive. So the
Which-
Vader figures were awesome. I mean, really. He's an awesome bad guy.
Yeah.
Not like Krylo.
Come on,
What?
don't get me started.
Did you
on
see
that.
the Disney princess thing I posted?
He's a cute Disney princess, isn't
that was fun.
I don't get all the hate. What all the
he's
hate
great.
for Kylo?
I think he's great. I really do. I think he's a great character. But
Uh,
I thought that was just super funny. Like,
No,
'cause,
it's,
I mean, he's untrained. He just doesn't know what to do with his anger
He's a
yet.
brat. He's not even angry. He's like,
But that's
My
reflecting.
iPod-
That's
my
reflecting
iPod has
Anakin's
a
I
charge.
need
sissy.
to go to Tashi Station. Yeah, that's not a brat. That's not some just kid that's just like. "Meh."
But he's mirroring
that flashing?
Anakin's sassiness. I hate them. I hate them all.
Well, you know that
That's
they
the
mimicked
wrong
they
person.
mimicked episode 3 when Anakin calls Obi-Wan a traitor. He yells that to Finn and Rey,
Yeah.
or well, Finn at
He
least.
just yells at Finn.
So
Raider.
I don't
but what
I don't get it. That's all. That was awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I mean,
he's there was
What's
some
awesome?
arguments about
I
his
lost it.
force.
I was like,
what
when
was
he's
awesome?
when he was pumping himself up after he'd been shot by a bowcaster.
Oh, that okay. So there was some. We is it doing it again?
Yeah.
We had talked about that a little bit on the after the show podcast before when we first watched it. We're like, they're a little heavy handed with how much Han Solo loves that bowcaster. But on reflection a little bit, and I know we're jumping around because we were talking about memorabilia, but I think they put that there to show us how awesome Kylo Ren is.
They did it wrong though.
I'm not saying it's not any less heavy-handed, but like when you watch Han Solo use it for the first time and he blows a door open, or like hits one stormtrooper and like 6 go flying, and then you watch Kylo Ren get blasted in the hip,
Yeah.
and he still stands up and walks off and fights 2 other
Yeah.
people. That's sort of that gives him a little bit more authority, I guess.
There was a
and gives some credence why some untrained people would be.
there
able
was
to
another
defeat
thing that
him.
was talking about how like powerful he really is. I mean, what other character has stopped a blaster in midair and held on a whole conversation while he's holding just this blaster shot just in midair, just hanging out there?
and I agree with your point about it showing how powerful he is, but I just think it was still cheesy the fact that Han and Chewie have been friends for so long,
Right.
and you're telling me just now this is
That
the
was-
first time he's
yeah,
ever
yeah.
used the bowcaster?
He's shot that thing
I
before.
think Chewie had just recently modified the
Oh,
weapon.
shut up.
Well, as soon as he modified it, you would have said, "Han, check this out now."
Yeah.
No, he would have said.
Yeah.
I was interpreting.
Yeah, that bugged me a lot. That didn't build. That didn't. We know those characters have been together for ages.
Maybe he
Forever.
left that bowcaster.
No.
No.
No, there is no way that is the first time he shot that.
I'm trying.
No way in
We're
hell.
not-
or knew how how powerful it was.
Yeah,
He could like. you'd be
in
like-
all the skirmishes they've ever been in.
normally he talks his way out of it. He says that very clearly
Yeah.
in the movie. Normally he always talks his way out of it.
Except when he shot Greedo first.
He didn't use the bowcaster for that.
Exactly, but I'm just saying he doesn't talk his way out of everything.
Right. Well, I just don't. I don't get all the hate, the Kylo hate. I don't.
I think
Honestly, I don't either, because I thought that was some of the best acting in the movie.
Yes, it was.
The conflict.
Yeah,
And that's
Adam
the fact.
Driver
That's the
did a
fact
good
that I
job.
love his character so much. Is before
he's
the,
what
the
he's
struggle.
what Anakin should have been.
The struggle was, not falling to the dark side. His struggle is he wants the light side completely out of him.
Yeah, because
And then all these people that are saying, "Well, doesn't he know that Anakin turned back to good?" He doesn't want to be Anakin. He wants to be Darth Vader.
and he says Vader was seduced
Yeah.
to the light side, not Anakin was seduced to the dark side. I like the third time I was watching or something like that, I did have a little bit of an aha moment right after the spoiler alert, Han Solo dies. Right after Han Solo gets killed, and
That was jarring.
right after Han Solo gets killed, and he encounters them into the woods on Starkiller Base. He's punching himself in the wound, to keep the anger up, keep the. His statement says something along as Han Solo can't save you now. And when you're watching the movie, you're thinking he's talking to Rey and
he
Finn.
said we're alone, or it's
We're-
just us now.
It's just us now. Han Solo can't save you now. I almost internalized that as that's him continuing an inner monologue within himself, saying that there's no way he can be seduced to the light side now. Han Solo can't save him anymore. If
That's a good
braving
point.
and saving, because he's pacing like a tiger in a cage, like just pumping himself up. We're alone now. It's just us. Han Solo. Well, that's probably. I'm not on camera.
He's got his lightsaber handle because I think we're
Alone
alone.
now. There doesn't seem to be
Any
Han.
Jedi
I
around.
was going with Han with that, but you got Jedi works too. Yeah. So anyway, awesome collection of stuff. I mean, some stuff tons of stuff I'd never seen before that you were able to share with me that I hope that you
I'm gonna sell it.
say do whatever you want with it.
I'm wanting a new Taylor acoustic guitar, so that stuff's gonna buy it.
And I
It's a shame
luck.
it takes that much rare stuff to buy it.
Yeah.
Taylors are expensive.
Yeah.
But the stuff that you have, you'll get it, I'm sure, 100%. And thanks for sharing that with. And I appreciate your single days for allowing us to have this now.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
I mean, we will definitely have more. You know, we've got, like Ryan said, year and a half till episode 8, and hopefully some more questions will be answered for us,
Or created.
or probably maybe a little bit of both.
Question. Episode 4. And we're at an hour and 20 minutes, so we can wrap us up anytime you want. Episode 4. Han Solo.
This is BOBcast.
Han Solo just plotted the course to Alderaan. Luke Skywalker is in the crew quarters of the Millennium Falcon with Obi-Wan Kenobi, who there's a training droid flying around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker is attempting to parry the blades or parry the blast with his lightsaber. You know, needless to say, after what I saw of the Millennium Falcon, I used to joke that it'd be probably not a good idea to fire a lightsaber up inside a spaceship. You know, put a hole in it and you all die.
It's like opening an umbrella.
Yeah.
You just don't do it.
But looking at the beating that the Falcon took in this movie, then obviously I don't think a lightsaber was going to cut immediately through it.
Yeah.
Where did the training droid come from? Because we see it in episode 7. Ben picks it up like, what is this junk, and then throws it back down.
When he's
what do you mean,
digging,
where did
when
it
he's
come
digging
from?
for the tape in the
No.
container.
In episode 4,
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan has it.
He had to, because that's a train. They're using them in like episode 2 or 3. Those little.
So it is a Jedi training droid.
Yeah, remember the little
The little
The
kids.
younglings.
the whatever.
The Anakin fodder.
You
Yeah.
killed us all.
Yeah.
We see that how it should have ended for Return of the Jedi.
The
With all the-
younglings.
Okay. Then why would Luke just throwing this out there? His master just got killed. The only Jedi master he has just got killed.
Right.
Appeared to him a voice in his head and later as a
Sure.
as a voice.
Sure.
Why did he leave the only Jedi training tool that he actually has available on the Falcon?
He didn't leave it. I mean,
I don't know.
there's really no point that he separates. He goes to Dagobah and
He goes and
that's-
sets up a Jedi training academy. Don't you think even if there's just one Jedi training droid, it'd be helpful?
there's probably a few of those, but he was going to look for the first academy, so there might be a few of those there.
But why wouldn't you just go get the one that's been sitting on the Falcon?
Oh,
for
I
30
think
years?
Obi-Wan died with the remote control in his pocket, so
Yeah.
he couldn't use
Yeah.
it anymore.
It vaporized back to.
Chewie took the batteries out.
He was like, "This will power my bowcaster even more."
It's like, what if I take this training droid?
Yeah. Good question, Ryan, for the sages to ponder for the ages.
All right.
What did
whatever.
Obi-Wan? Why did Luke leave his?
Well, maybe in the next movie
Training
when
droid.
Luke ends up on the Falcon,
He'll be like, "Hey, I've been
he'll
looking for
step
that."
up, oh yeah, I hear that. That's where I left that.
You th-
Hey, my turn.
You think Princess Leia will be dead by the end of this?
Yes.
Okay. Do you mean
I think
Carrie Fisher, or do you mean?
I think she'll
Leia.
be the president or the leader of the new
That's
republic.
that's what I think too, because they're really going hard for the World War II analogy of the Nazis with this thing, and she is basically. It's kind
Okay.
of like the ineptitude of Chamberlain when the Nazis were doing their blitz into the Sudetenlands or whatever,
Yeah.
and now you have a stronger chancellor step forward in the vacuum, which would be like Churchill. She'll become the chancellor of
I-
the new
is
republic.
this
That's
a-
how I see this
Is
whole
this a
trilogy.
popular
Yeah.
thing going around on the
What?
webs?
What?
There, this.
No, I've
thing here?
I've explained this multiple times that it's basically the rise of the Third Reich.
It's the first I've heard it.
I
First I've heard of it.
go back a few episodes. I talked about it.
But that's the way I see this trilogy ending with Episode 9 is a reformation of the Republic. You know, it's kind of like a
I call
almost
for
like a NATO
vote of
type
no
thing.
confidence in General Organa.
Well, there's going to be a huge power vacuum now that the whoever the leader of the republic is, and the majority of the senators are probably all toast, and it'll probably
Well, they're not coming from the Hosnian system. I'll tell you that much.
a lot of people have suggested that the opening scroll. Why do I keep saying you got me saying scroll?
See, because
scroll,
that's what it's called.
the scroll.
Sometimes it's called the crawl too. So
Crawl.
Crawl.
Maybe I'm combining the
the
two.
scroll crawl should be the galaxy is in chaos or something to that effect should be the opening.
That's our assignment
Sentence.
before episode
mean
8
like
is we're gonna write our own.
war.
Yeah,
like a Starship Troopers, like it'll be like
isn't
sort of,
that's the opening for
It's episode 3, I think.
Yeah.
Or is it
2 or 3?
Anyway, it's just
War.
it'd be 3. No,
exclamation
it'd be
point.
2. It'd be 3.
I think it's 3.
It'd be 3. 3 opens with them attacking General Grievous'
It's
ship.
3
Yeah.
because
The
2
clones don't show up until the end of 2.
2 the war doesn't start
Yeah.
until end 2.
Okay,
Right.
so how do we feel about the First Order? We think there's more?
Yeah, there has
What do you
to
mean
be.
there's more?
Because that was, I mean, that was all his troops on Starkiller base.
Hux has got more.
You think Hux has more?
Yeah, he wasn't on the ship.
Well, no. Him and
He wasn't
Kylo
there.
got off, and maybe
Maybe that was Hux's contingent, but I guarantee there's got to be.
Well, there's some
that's
Star
only-
Destroyers that survived.
Well, there's clones still available, as that's been stated.
This was only one piece of the First Order.
But this is a pretty big piece.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a
Well,
big-
we thought also at the end of Return of the Jedi, the entire Empire was destroyed.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. I
yeah.
like them
There's
apples.
definitely more.
But I think it's going to go less from political sides like the Resistance and the Republic, and focusing more on the good
Force.
versus evil Force.
Yeah.
I think
I
they're
think
gonna
so.
have. I think they're gonna have to get some of the politicalness into it. I mean, because the Republic's
a little bit if they wouldn't have blown up the planet.
I don't
yeah, I'm
see-
just saying that. I don't think that'll be the focus.
I don't see how Leia's not going to have a bigger role because it's going to be on her to pull the remnants of Republic and Resistance together now. Because I guarantee that the First Order has at this point, a larger contingent at their disposal since they destroyed the Republic capital and the Republic fleet.
I think that's what the Resistance needs to be focusing on right now. Is where is this stuff being manufactured?
Stop
Destroy.
letting them build it.
Exactly.
They need to get to the funding, the banking
Exactly.
plan.
Get to the banking clan. Why about the banking clan? Episode 8 is coming out in a year and a half.
Right.
Who do you think is going to be the primary characters in episode 8?
Rey, Luke, Ren, and
Right.
Snoke.
Yeah.
I think you'll probably have a parallel lines running, probably maybe like a Poe Finn team up running through it, and that may even be the stronger
That's where I'm.
the
That's where
stronger
I'm falling.
theme running through it with Kylo and Rey, doing
Like
their
training montages on either end,
what
and then the main side of the story is.
I think
Poe
the
and
Empire
Finn.
has a better gym.
Yeah.
maybe Rey and Luke do some training and then go looking for this temple, or who knows that. So I wouldn't mind if it was
I mean, she could go back to it. I mean, Leia could do. She could lead. Like, I mean, she was. I'm jumping back here. But
I know.
I'm kind of thinking.
I
I
think
was just
she's gonna
thinking
have
about. I
to.
mean, she was a member of the Imperial Senate, right?
Yeah, I think she's gonna have to.
I mean,
If this is a consular ship, then where is your ambassador?
yeah.
yeah, she's gonna.
Oh,
she's
it's my
gonna have
daughter. She's over there. I see her. Hi.
to.
Dad.
You said you never visit me at work.
So
You're always choking people.
You're a traitor. Take her away.
Back off. I feel like you're like breathing down my neck.
I think that they're gonna. I know everybody complains about the politic thing of it, which I never minded that. I never minded
Of course you don't.
Do you think?
like I've always said, Ryan. The most evil things in the world are the most boring.
Well,
The,
do you
the
think?
men in the gray suits they're the most boring.
Do you think that that we'll see if we're gonna see this Imperial build, okay, or the rebels build up the alliance again? Are we gonna see an Imperial kind of struggle? Because that Hux and Ren thing, man, we're gonna have to see that battle out a little bit more. Those guys
But-
go at it.
Okay, but here's my thing: is it's Snoke.
I
Okay,
think Ren's gonna kill
What-
Hugs.
what I think Snoke does. I mean, if
Snoke
I'm
is
thinking,
gonna
I almost visualize this scene where like Hux is like, the army has. I mean, he's a fanatic. You watch that speech. I mean, he's nuts. He's nuts. Snoke doesn't care about the power of the First Order. I
Right.
mean, no more than Vader cared about the power of the Death
No, it's
Star.
not- yeah,
He's
it's- they're-
using-
yeah, they're
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
using
think-
all of
I
that
don't
to
think
get
Snoke
loot.
will
using
kill.
their
I don't think
resources.
Snoke will kill him, but I think what'll happen is that Snoke, Ren, and Hux will all be in the same room together. There'll be a conversation that is had, and Ren will kill him
See, I don't.
for Snoke.
Okay. So, but Snoke was like, kill him.
'Cause Snoke's little.
I wouldn't be surprised if you
Because
don't
Snoke
even.
is little.
I think
I don't even know if you will even see Snoke, even maybe in the next movie. He may not be fully revealed. till
I
the
hope.
third.
I hope if we do
He
see
said
him,
bring him
it's
to
like
me.
his hood is
He's
out
gonna
and
be
his
there.
face looks mutilated, like like putty dough, like Play-Doh.
like the Emperor.
yeah. I hope it's a totally different face in this one because I'm just trying to run as many parallels as I can with Empire Strikes Back.
see for some reason I would think Hux would be killed by a Resistance person. I don't know if he would be killed by his own people.
See, that's the thing about him though is
Well, I
he hasn't built that personal animosity with anybody at this point. He's just some nameless. I mean,
He's
from
basically
the
Tarkin.
resistance. Yeah, on the resistance side, but Tarkin, you got that connection with Leia and him. You know, the main characters, character to character.
she
but
could smell him.
but no, Finn never had a one-on-one with Hux.
Like the moment she was brought on board,
What if somebody captures Hux from the resistance,
converts him to the good
converts
side.
him to the good side?
That's right. I
Uh,
like where you're thinking, Doug.
No, after that speech, that is not happening.
I think
Never
they're
know.
like,
There might be
"Hey."
some dark side influence on
I
him.
think that is. I think it's a little big of a little pole there. I think that's not gonna.
I think honestly though, I don't disagree. There's some dark side there because you see how red his eyes were.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy.
And
I mean,
people
honestly, it was
have been
crazy.
giving him crap
His
too
eyes
for
were
overacting that
after the
part.
speech because
See, I don't. It's
he was
supposed to
staring
reflect
into
Hitler
a
in every
sun
way.
ray.
I think.
Yeah, you clearly watch, like, if you've seen old Nazi propaganda, Goebbels and those
Yeah.
guys giving speeches. That's how they overacted.
Yeah,
So
there's a technique to it.
yeah. So there's again, it's that whole politics thing that everybody gives Lucas so much crap for. It's just you got to know how to try to pull it off, to weave it in the story without making it, be boring,
don't make guys.
But Master Yoda, he was the best
Please,
part of this.
please do
movie.
Leia again, just one more time.
I don't know if I can now that I'm thinking about it.
Where the force be with- like,
No, not Owen
She's
Wilson.
all right.
yeah.
Leia.
Right.
It was
Right. It was Snoke.
It was Snoke.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Hilarious.
For the first time. I mean,
Luke's a Jedi. You're his father. You really got to stretch him back.
Yeah, you really gotta tighten that face up. I go too old man. I'm too.
you go
wishful.
toothless.
Yeah.
You not enough Botox. Too little teeth.
May the
All
force
right.
be with you.
It's pretty good.
That's not how it works.
That's not how any of this works.
This is how this works. You can follow us at facebook.com/Buffalo Brotherhood. You can follow me on Twitter at BuffaloCast. Follow Mikey on Twitter at FooMan2. 2 O's, 2 N's, and the number 2. Follow Doug Hyatt on Twitter on Refried Evil. You can follow the show on Twitter at BOBcast Nation. Almost messed that up. Thanks so much, Doug, for being on the show.
It was fun.
You're 4 out of 6 at this point. Nice job. Nobody's hit that ratio.
Feel special.
It's always so much fun. I know the video game stuff last week probably was a little boring for you, but I really liked the conversations towards the end. We still have tons more we could talk about. I mean, we found out you were in a movie like the last 30 seconds of last week's episode.
Oh yeah, at some point I still got to tell
What was
everyone
the name of the movie?
Novella V
Okay. It wasn't.
with Drew Waters directing.
It wasn't Butthole Buffet.
No, that was Dick Peters, totally different.
Dick Peters.
Drew.
Drew Peters, I'm sorry.
Get it right.
Hi, my name's Cock. That should be a new Star Wars character.
Should we just cut this last part out? Anyway, thanks. Seriously.
Really, you could probably
Anytime.
cut out the whole Batman Superman argument. We can make that a whole separate show.
Well, we'll have to do that like in March
In-
because, and I know there's probably lots of people lining up to be at the microphone then because
Yeah.
that's obviously been
Comic book 2.0.
that's been
The
that's been
mythology
it's been a
continues.
constant debate at this table. So thanks so much for coming to the lodge, guys. Hit us up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns? Hopefully, we're going to start seeing some more content coming out on YouTube by the time that this episode comes out. So, thanks. Goodbye from the lodge.
It was Snoke.
Did Snoke leave? Is Snoke gone?